Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. Some industry optimism about audiobooks and their double-digit growth in recent years was noted in Publishers Weekly's reporting from this year's Digital Book World Conference. But as with any industry's growth comes change. Let's talk about some current and anticipated changes for audiobooks and how that will impact self-published authors. In late January 2023, I received an email from ACX and Audible informing me that some of my audiobook titles would experience pricing changes, make that price reductions. Just to briefly review how ACX and Audible work, self-published audiobook authors do not set prices for their books. ACX does. The price is based on the length of the book in terms of listening time. Actual royalties paid depend on the author's choice of either an exclusive or non-exclusive agreement with ACX, with exclusive agreements paying more. I couldn't help reading between the lines in this email from ACX. We periodically try out different pricing on content with the goal of improving customer satisfaction and interaction with our offerings. I'm interpreting this corporate speak as that they're feeling some competitive pressure from everyone who wants a piece of the audiobook market, which they currently dominate. That likely includes players like Spotify, who want to rule the audio space, and Apple. Audible is a true subscription model. Subscribers pay a monthly fee and receive access to audiobooks, with the amount of content determined by their subscription membership level. Currently, the basic level includes one audiobook per month and access to some other content such as podcasts. In contrast, audiobook platforms such as Spotify and Apple Books allow for individual book sales. The email continues. Starting today, Audible is reducing prices on titles, including ACX titles, across the site. We anticipate that these price reductions will lead to increased sales for titles overall. In tandem, as the vast majority of Audible content is purchased with a credit, you should expect your average royalty per unit for credit sales to remain steady. Well, that might be the case. But on ACX reports, it's difficult to equate books sold with subscription credit units and how that actually translates into royalties paid. I consider myself a reasonably intelligent person, but the ACX monthly reports are so confounding that I just say, well, I guess that's right. So I'm not sure if I'll even be able to accurately determine if those credit sales are steady or declining. Audible subscribers also get a discount on the purchase of audiobooks over and above their subscription allowance. If there is a price reduction, that will mean lower royalties for sales of an a la carte retail sale. It should also be noted that this price reduction issue will impact self-published audiobook authors on ACX. Pricing may be completely different for audiobooks with traditional publishers. Don't tell me you haven't noticed how expensive those audiobooks are from big publishers compared to yours. When I checked my catalog of audiobook titles on Audible, I noticed that one audiobook had already experienced a price reduction, but the rest were still at their regular prices. I wouldn't be surprised to see more of my titles get their retail price cut. Returning to the Digital Book World Conference reporting, big publishers are salivating at the audiobookification of backlist titles since it represents a big sales opportunity for them, but maybe not for traditionally published authors. Whether it's good or bad for authors will depend on the terms of the contract between the author and the publisher, and if the author relinquished audio rights in their contract. Self-published authors have less of these concerns, but should check their agreements with any self-publishing platforms or companies they work with, just to make sure. The advice to authors is to protect your audio edition rights so that you can take advantage of audiobook opportunities. One of the big cost hurdles for publishers is that turning backlist titles into audio editions is not free, even though the cost has dropped dramatically in recent years. Human narrators and audio production staff are expensive. Some time ago, I discussed AI, or artificial intelligent audiobook narration, specifically looking at Google's audiobook narration program. You can imagine that many publishers will turn to AI narrators like these to handle the task. This technology is really pretty impressive, though, like all AI tech, it's not perfect for all books and genres. But will publishers use it anyway? Likely they will, which will reduce opportunities for human narrators. Add to this scenario the recent news from The Guardian that Apple quietly introduced some AI-narrated audiobooks into its Books app offerings. Here's where that gets muddy. To date, Audible and its audiobook publishing platform ACX have required human narrators for audiobooks produced and distributed through them. However, this article reports that Amazon and Audible have been exploring AI narration technologies. Complicating the issue is that when authors produce their audiobooks on ACX, they get distributed through Apple Books. So, if AI narrated audiobooks are allowed on Apple Books, why can't they be allowed on Audible and ACX? That would open opportunities for authors who want to use AI narration because they don't have the skills or resources to do it on their own. The argument against AI audiobook narrators noted from Digital Book World reporting is that listeners can tell the difference between AI and human narrators. There is no question about that. But would readers be willing to pay a premium for human narrated books that cost more to produce? If their goal in listening is just a faithful reading of the text, they won't care. But if it's performance they want, they might care. I don't think AI narration has been out in the book consumer space long enough for readers to express a preference and sales differences tracked. I'll look forward to sharing more reporting on that in the future. I hope you found that interesting and helpful, and if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast app you like to use. I'm on all the major ones, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you like the YouTube video better, all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is at Heidi Thorne Channel, and turn on the notifications so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share the audio or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are available on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is go to one of those sites, type in my name, Heidi Thorne, and my author page will come up with a list of all available titles. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.